Hello Reapers, my name's Seth and we are back in some more Trove patch notes. You'll have to excuse me, I'm exhausted. I ended up having to reinstall Windows 10 yesterday because of some grief that it was giving me. It's just been a whole heck of a process, dude. But thankfully, things seem to be all worked out and well and good and everything like that. However, it does mean that I'm a little bit behind on my recording schedule. So while there is a whole bunch of new free mounts and stuff like that that have actually been added to Trove, you can expect those videos to come out tomorrow, Reapers. And thank you very much for your patience during this transition of Windows 7 to Windows 10. Without further ado though, folks, I know you only care about the patch notes, so before we get started, I would appreciate if you would hit that like button. Makes the video show up in searches and stuff like that, helps out more than you know. And without further ado, we're gonna be giving away information rather than prizes. So they do actually acknowledge right at the top known issues, which, I mean, they acknowledge a couple issues, let's say, because there are a lot of problems with this patch. In a lot of ways, a lot of the aspects of this patch have actually not even seen their way into the game. Now, technically speaking, this patch is considered a hotfix, right? So, meaning that it's not really adding new content. It adds a little bit of content, but most of all, it's just a hotfix. It's funny because we're getting a hotfix for your hotfix. Like, is this exhibit? Because, man alive. Anyways, for the known issues, they've got a change to this patch will prevent purchasing more than one of any item that unlocks in your collections tab. Even if that item is tradable, this will affect Treasure Isle merchants along with Saltwater Sam and the hub. They are planning on fixing it. We'll see what happens. It's going to be as soon as possible, obviously, because this is going to end up locking out quite a bit of content. Next, we have an issue was found where a new player login rewards that could not be resolved before this hotfix was released. So they were going to end up actually introducing new login rewards specifically for patron users. So I'm not exactly sure how this was going to be implemented. They did actually have a screenshot that is not in the patch notes anymore. I will put a link to the patch notes in the description if you want to read any of this stuff out yourselves, folks. But they ended up removing that image, and it ended up showing kind of a 7 days login thing. So not exactly sure whether or not that's just for the first 7 days of having patron, you're gonna end up getting these items, or if it's continuously logging in over and over and over. Then we've got the Squire Necessities pack has been added to the game, which contains a flying griffin mount, wings, and an ally, as well as a framework and a bunch of other things. So we're gonna show those off accordingly. You get this helmet, you get this weapon, you get the little ally right there, which doesn't have really the best stats or anything. It's got physical damage, 121 max health. It's, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's at least kind of cute and adorable. And then you get this mount out of the pack. So this thing's actually pretty cool. It's just a griffin that you end up getting pretty much for $20. Overall, I'd say that this pack is quite expensive considering the items that you end up actually getting out of it. I want to go over to another area here so I can end up showing you what the framework looks like as well. I'm going to have separate videos that's going to highlight everything in this pack as well as all the free mounts and stuff like that. We are going to show them all off today, but I just wanted to let you know that I am going to have a separate video for those of you that don't want to go through an entire patch notes video. So this is going to be the framework. It's actually pretty broken, unfortunately, because if you'll notice on the back, it doesn't have any window like awnings. Like, what's going on with that? So otherwise it's just staircase all the way up to the top. Nothing too fancy. The wings that we get out of the pack are actually really impressive and beautiful, outside of the fact that they're the disgusting Trove colors. Like, the yellow is fine, but if it was yellow and white, that would be superb, très magnifique, as they say in Canada, or Quebec, I guess I should say, right? I don't speak French, go away. But in either case, dude, it's got that gross Trove green. Like, get over it. Like, it's not a good color, I'm sorry to say. You're gonna get a bunch of other different styles that you get out of the pack and stuff, but for the sake of saving time for today, we're not gonna get into any of that. Out of the pack, you're also going to end up getting like some chaos chests and greater dragon caches and stuff. All of that I'll talk about in my pack review video that'll most likely end up coming out tomorrow, so that I have some extra time to actually record it, because like I said, I got really far behind with all of the stupid all the Windows 10 stuff, man. Like, you can even hear it in my voice right now. I know I can hear it. I can feel it. I am getting sick just because of how much I've been pushing myself to try and fix all of this stuff. It's very stressful stuff. The absolute worst part of my job is all the technical issues. But anyways, you don't care. Tomes in the store will now precisely match the name of the item you receive, so I guess they ended up adjusting some of the names. Club updates. So for the first 30 enemies killed in a dungeon, they'll be the only ones that are going to actually be counting towards adventuring quests. So get wrecked, parrot farmers. For some reason, the devs decided to get rid of it. But oh wait, don't worry, because this has actually not seen a fix yet. Not until we end up getting a hotfix for this hotfix. So get out there, farm your parrots, and do the quest as much as you can, because seriously, dude, when it ends up getting nerfed, you're probably never, ever, ever going to end up getting Blocktron again. Like, seriously. So go out and farm the quest as much as you can. I have a tutorial on how you actually do the parrot farming and stuff like that, so go and check that one out if you haven't already. Now, they also say that they've increased the adventurine rewards for adventurer NPCs that spawn here at the Rally of Heroes. They're going to end up changing it so that you're going to get 10% of adventurine off of these uncommon dudes, 25% off of epic, which is going to end up being purple NPCs. This is green, not purple. 50% off of epic, like I just said. 25% off of rare. That's what I meant to say, is in the next food chain right here is the green ones. And then legendary NPCs, which are gold and actually require you to have a Repose of Heroes fixture. Those guys are going to give 100% more adventurine. Now, we'll see what that ends up meaning, because honestly speaking, I still don't think it's going to be as fast as our parrot farming, folks. Like, that's just the most efficient way of getting the adventurine. And I would have settled for something that was equally fun as well as more accessible, and maybe a little bit slower on the grind. But when we were grinding the parrot farming, just to give perspective, it would take like 3 to 4 hours of just that. Nothing else. Just 4 hours a day to get your total daily of the adventurine. So now we've got even more adventurine to grind just because of the process being that much slower. It's not a solution to me, is what I'm saying. That's my 2 cents towards it. So anyways, the Repose of Heroes will now no longer prevent certain NPCs from spawning. Editing a member's permissions in the permissions tab is now going to end up keeping the list static. So what that means is it's actually a fantastic setting for a fantastic fix, I mean, for people that manage clubs. Because what you would normally do is you go to the sort by last login, right? And then if we ended up interacting with any of these characters in any way, shape, or form, promoting them, demoting them, kicking them, or using text commands to do any of the above, it would actually reset the list. So you would have to go back and resort them by last login once again. But now you actually don't have to do that. It is still a bit annoying because you could be way down here on the list, and then if you end up adjusting it in any way, shape, or form, bam, you're going to be kicked right back to the top. But at least you're not going to have to sort the list over and over. So it means that 2 people can both do kicking of inactive users, while at the same time you can end up having people maybe doing invites while somebody else is doing the kicking, right? It's very, very handy that they ended up adding that. So they updated the text in the adventure section of the club UI to be more accurate when a slot is empty. So I'm guessing they just mean this tab right here. When it's going to end up having no NPC, it's going to talk a little bit more specifically about, I don't know, something, right? So anyways, they updated the traveling merchant fixture to now actually show in the club log when you end up collecting the clue bits, which we can actually see. No, it doesn't seem like anybody ended up collecting that. So maybe, bloop. This is exactly what it looks like, by the way. We already collected the clue bits right here. So anyways, yeah, there we go. Now it actually shows it in the club log, so you can keep track of that. The world map now also reflects right at the top. It's going to actually say the club world that you're in, so that's really, really cool. And then we've got fixed a couple crashes. Collecting clue bits from the traveling merchant fixture will now appear in the club log. That was repeated twice, or maybe I just read that wrong. Yeah, I think I'd read that wrong. So, Club Power Rank leaderboard should now actually show up and populate during the week rather than only after the next week or something like that. I guess it wasn't really showing up properly. Stun duration in PvP has been reduced. Nobody cares because it's PvP. Nobody actually plays it. Racing Raptor should be removed from the Chaos Chest, but it actually hasn't been. That's what I mean. There's so many things about this hotfix that have actually not made their way into the patch. So, hopefully they have a hotfix next week, I would expect. but maybe it'll take them a little bit longer because it seems like some of these issues are very, very big in internal like problems that the game is facing, right? So Dino Tamer pets are now going to despawn when you change classes. The Fago My Ego class gem ability for the Fade Trickster is now going to refresh the stacks of the phase passive ability, so that's pretty cool. Power rank requires the Trovian Atlas. Power rank requirements, in the Trovian Atlas in the hub are now going to be colored red when they're not met. So that's just going to be a nice little UI change that's going to make things a little bit easier for people. Consecutive days logged in badge should now display the correct progression again. Hydra Snack Trophy has now actually been added to the Hydraken vaults. So that's really... That's pretty crazy because that was actually not a thing that was added into the game for the longest time. We actually didn't have a Hydra Snack Trophy for some reason. Now, when they say Shadow Hydraken Vaults, I think there's a little bit of confusion in the explanation here because I'm pretty sure that they're talking about the chest that you actually use a Shadow Key on after you actually defeat the boss. They're not talking about the rare chest that the boss is going to drop, which will end up giving the mounts respectively, because that would kind of be a waste to have that rare box end up dropping just a trophy. Like, that just wouldn't really be worth it, right? So anyways, acid blocks are now going to block health regeneration again. Cinnabar is going to be in Chaos Chest. Better message for login fails. Text at the barber shouldn't flicker. Being disconnected from the game is not going to end up consuming a lure when you're fishing anymore. They ended up changing a bunch of the text in Golden Thread quests. Updated subclass video effects sounds to only trigger when swapping your character or swapping your subclass ability instead of triggering every time you end up going into new worlds. So when we end up just doing something like this, you're gonna see the video effects. But now, or if you end up like changing the class right here, you're gonna be able to see the video effects of the subclass ability, but no longer when you're swapping worlds. So that's actually pretty handy. Excuse me while I went down the wrong tube. And generally, it's just going to be a couple other just quick little fixes. Nothing really extraordinary to talk about or anything like that. So let's just get into the other mounts that we ended up getting. So this is going to end up being one of the styles to the pack. And then this is going to end up being our new Chaos Chest mount. Hopefully, I'm going to have that video come out later today. But again, I'm just so far behind. I might end up having these videos coming out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. This is going to end up being one of the free mounts right here, which is a tractor, and then we've got the surfboard right here, the hoverboard, which is going to end up being another free mount, which oddly has like really out of place video effects. Like, look at those fires, they're not even on the mount. Like, come on, devs. Now it's important to note, console players, if you're wondering what is actually going on, because you're maybe sitting there thinking, why are those free items not actually both in the store right now? That's because they ended up having a little bit of a mess up. So the hoverboard was actually not supposed to be added into the game for a free purchase until late March, maybe even the month after that. We were supposed to only get the tractor mount, right? So they accidentally ended up having it come out early. People ended up grabbing it. The hotfix ended up hitting, and suddenly it wasn't in the store anymore. We weren't able to actually grab the hoverboard. Now, devs normally were going to end up waiting until the next few months before they were going to put that into the game. But I guess enough people complained, and they kind of just acknowledged the fact that they messed up with that one, to the point where they're supposed to be having both the hoverboard and the tractor in the deal section here for free for the next few months. But I'm just saying, as far as console is concerned, I've heard reports that they've only seen one of the mounts, and I'm just saying, be patient. They're going to end up fixing it. They did acknowledge and say that they're going to end up taking a little bit longer to fix it on the console, despite the fact that it's already fixed on PC. So anyways, that's already it, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. That's also going to build up loyalty points in my merch store. Links are in the description for that. And for the fans that want to go the extra mile, you can donate to me for absolutely free with the Gawk Box. Check links in the description explaining that as well. And last but not least, if you're wondering how come Trove looks so beautiful, I'm actually using a external software called Reshape that my good friend Stratus ended up leading me on to. Now, we're going to talk about that in another video as well, but man alive, it looks pretty, doesn't it? Sign on and stay epic, Reapers.